Bow your heads, everybody. We gather here today, family and friends, to not mourn the death of our friend, our dear friend Elise, but to celebrate her passing to the next level. She was a wife. She was very valuable to the Olitzers. She was someone special. She is survived by her husband, Mr. Cheap Greasy Gettysburger Joke. And that is all. Bow your heads. Amen. Amen. Guys, I'm not even gonna get on that. So, first thing I have to say is, if after you watch this episode and you're still standing for Melly, I don't know what to tell you. But let me get on. You want me to go ahead? Okay. So basically, we start off with the Liberty Report. Lovers of Liberty. Yes, we have Sally Langston back again this episode. So she's basically covering the whole impeachment thing. And we have, first on the hot seat, we have Melly, and she's lying, saying she didn't know about Liv until recently. And then, so they ambush Melly with Janine Locke, and she's reading off the evidence that basically says, you know, she knew Janine and she paid her off to lie and say that she was with the president or whatever. And so she uses "I don't recall," which is an excuse they said you can use if you're feeling like too uncomfortable, but she said she wasn't going to use it. But she ends up using "I don't recall." And then, so we cut to Patty she decides to use executive privilege for Fitz and decides that he's not going to testify because it's getting a little too dirty and muggy, and then we have people ambushing people, so she's just like, we're just going to use executive privilege. What I thought we were going to start off with was Fitz telling Lizzie that she was fired. When I was watching the episode, I didn't even think about the fact that I wasn't seeing Lizzie because, you know, you all know I'm not here for Lizzie. But now that I think about it now, I did think it was going to start off with him firing Lizzie. But she's somewhere making up a plan to do something evil. So then we have Cyrus, Liv, and Fitz in the Oval, and Liv comes in, and she's like, I'm not supposed to be here, I'm not supposed to be talking about Janine Locke. And then Cyrus says, you guys are going to get married, and then she's freaking out. She's saying a shotgun wedding on the what'd she say, something of a quickie divorce, something like that. And then she's like, no, we're not doing this. And then Fitz goes, okay, we'll find another way. And then we have Elise and Papa Pope, and they're in the jail. And at this point I was like, yes, my prediction was right. I was feeling myself. I was like, I said that Elise was working with Papa Pope or possibly Mama Pope, but I was leaning more towards Papa Pope. And it seemed like she was working with them, so yeah, I was like, yes, I was feeling like I was the stuff. And then he's like, he needs an escape plan, and he goes into like this room with this officer, and the officer trying to kill him, and he flips him over. I was like, ooh, Papa got some moves, but I was like, it would be unrealistic for him not to have some moves, you know what I'm saying, because he was a command. So anyway, he ends up killing the officer, and then so Jake is called as one of the people, one of Papa's emergency contact people, and the nurse tells Jake that he's one of two people who have visited him, one of two people that are on his emergency contact list. He finds out that Elise is working for Rowan, or so we thought, and really she's here to kill Rowan. And at that point, I was like, oh, she's working for Mama, because she was under Lazarus. She wasn't in charge of Lazarus 1, but she was taking orders from the person who was in charge of Lazarus 1, and I'm sticking to that it's Mama. So then we have strategizing OPA. Abby hugging Quinn. They're in the hot seat. It flips like back and forth between them being in the hot seat and between Liv telling them what they should do, how they should answer questions. And then the question was eventually who leaked the video of Janine Locke. And then so they decide that they're going to use Harrison. At first Liv was like, no, that's disgusting. Then I'm like, come on, he's dead. They can't really question him. Why not? Yeah, he is the one who leaked it. So yeah. So they use Harrison, and then the committee is kind of upset because he's dead, and then they have that excuse. And then so we have Rowan calls Liv, asks for help. I was like, no, here we go again. Like, she just escaped Papa. Well, you know, I don't think she'll ever be able to fully escape him until he's 6 feet under. But she did get a little break. She was able to breathe. She put him in jail, and then he's calling her, asking for help. I'm like, no. So she hangs up, and I'm like, there you go, Liv. So then we have Susan Ross, David, and Susan Ross comes and talks to David, and it doesn't seem like it's a good time, and she gives off this weird awkward laugh. You know that weird snort pig loud laugh that she does. It was funny. And then Susan is basically asking David how could she possibly resign without it being too much public attention on her and all this stuff. And then we cut to Liv Abby in the bedroom scene, and she's like, I love him too much to let that happen. And I was like, oh, spoons. And then Abby's telling her, so why don't you just marry him if you love him or whatever. And Liv was like, it's obvious that she doesn't want to marry him right now. She doesn't feel like they're ready, and I completely agree. When I was watching the promo, I was, you know, like yes and acting stupid, but I don't think they should really be married at this time. Like, engaged, okay, but I'm not even really sure engaged is right for right now because it's so new. Like, because in the past, they got like their 1 minute, 1 hour, you know, stolen moments. They're like, they have more time now, and I don't want it to be rushed, and I don't want it to be done because of political convenience. I don't want it to be feel like a sham, like, because that was Melly and Fitz's marriage. I don't want it for Liv and Fitz, because it wouldn't be good. It doesn't work out, and I feel like they're more than that. They deserve more than that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I just wasn't really keen on the idea. But Rowan calls Quinn, and he's basically, well, she's in there, and she's like, you can't, well, I don't know what she was saying, honestly, you guys, but I remember a part where she was like, sir, like, she just went from, like, being all, having an attitude, she goes, sir, and I thought that was funny. And then Liv and Fitz have the Truman balcony scene. When we were watching the promo, it looked romantic, but I just want to say it just wasn't, I don't think it was organic to them, because we know, like, Liv is a really simple person. Fitz likes to do a lot because he feels like she deserves a lot, which is true, but it just wasn't, it was cute, but it wasn't. And then the whole vibe was kind of like, because, you know, Liv wasn't for it, and they have like this little, it wasn't an argument, but she tells him to get up when he gets on one knee, and then they have like, and they, you know, the part that broke my heart a little bit was when he was like, I want you, and she was like, we're not ready, and he was like, I'm ready. He was like, you're not ready, and he was like, what do you want? And then it was just silence. He said, I thought so, and he walked away. I was like, see, I didn't like that part of the scene. That whole scene wasn't really good. I mean, I liked the dialogue, because it got to show Fitz what was in Olivia's head, because she doesn't really tell him anything, not a lot. Then we have Liv and Jake, another Liv and Jake phone scene, and then she's like, she's at home or whatever, and she says, do I seem like I'll make a good married person? And then basically Jake is like, so you're calling me about him? Like, what? They get off the phone quickly. And then I'm just like, Liv, you can't feel that he's not feeling you. Like, it's like she's smart, but then in some areas she's just, I don't want to call her dumb, but she just seems dumb. Like, leave him alone. God, it was already bad enough the last episode when she found out that he was married and she sat down and ate greasy Gettysburger with him. Anyway, I felt that whole scene was disrespectful because even on Jake's part, because you're married, you brought Elise back to the States with you, so I assume that wanted to kind of try to make it work with her, and then you buy Gettysburger for another woman, Liv, and you sit down at OPA where you don't belong. I'm so sick of seeing you there. And then you eat Gettysburger with her, and then he on top of it get the nerve to make jokes talking about your type is married men. Like, don't do it, Jake. Don't do it. Like, he's so And then she sat down with them eating Gettysburger, and he has a wife, and I'm just like, where are the boundaries? But I guess, given the history of Scandal, I don't think there really are any boundaries anywhere. Not really. So, for me to expect boundaries is probably kind of crazy. But that scene just rubbed me completely the wrong way. And then we had Edison in his Cliff Huxtable sweater trying to read people. But, let me continue. So, Quinn comes in and she tells Liv, well, at first she's pressuring her, like, do you want to get married? And Liv is like, she's shutting down. She's like, oh, wait, we're not going to talk about this. Yeah, I don't really like you like that. And then Quinn says she may have a solution. And then we cut to Liv going to visit Rowan in his little hospital thing. And he's been faking, I don't know what he said, but faking something where it seems like he still needs to be in the infirmary. So, he wants to negotiate. He's like, you get me out of here. I make sure that you don't have to testify. And so, when Liv got in the car, I assumed when she had the flashback to when Melly was like, I can sign his signature in my sleep, I assumed that she was meeting up with Melly so she could ask her to sign the signature to release Rowan. Melly finds out that Eli is Liv's father because Liv tells her, and then Liv also tells her that Eli killed Jerry, little Jerry, and so she was upset about that. It was some other things that went in there in that scene. She was like, what did he throw me out for? Because she's confused of why he threw her out now. And then she was like, I despise you at one point. I was like, this line of I despise you is kind of like oddly placed. I don't know why it was placed in there, but okay, I guess they wanted her to say something, something mean, I guess. And then, so, Melly has a little breakdown. Liv walks away. I wasn't really here for this scene. I probably don't even have to tell you guys. I don't like Melly. I don't like Melly and Liv talking together, trying to work something out. I just don't like it. There's no Olivia. Like, okay. Then we have a Liv and Fitz bedroom scene. They both have attitude. She's on that side, he's on that side. They're both turned away from each other. You can tell they both have attitudes. And then she turns around, she's like, let me see the ring. And the ring was Betsy Ross's ring. Now, when I already knew Fitz was gonna go all out. Like, when he was on the treatment balcony, he was like, I was getting Charlotte to look up rings, like one-of-a-kind rings, like historical rings and stuff like that. I was like, this is so Fitz. And it was Betsy Ross's ring, and then she decides to put it on and put Du Bebe into the ring box to replace the Betsy Ross ring. And she says that no big wedding dress, no vows, no huge reception, and she wants to keep her last name, which I always wanted her to keep her last name because she's made something of herself using that last name, so I need her to keep Pope. And if she wants to, she can do a little hyphen at Pope Grant, but Pope has to stay in there. I think it should stay in there. So then we have another Liv and Jake phone call. Oh my god, this is one too many Liv and Jake phone calls. No, this is two too many Liv and Jake phone calls. Cause he's being cold. She's telling him that she's going to do it. She's going to marry Fitz, and he's like, "You call me to tell me that?" He's like, "Don't call me. And if you need something, you need to ask him. That's his job." And I'm like, Jake, okay. You know, I appreciated. Ugh, I almost threw up in my mouth. Saying this, but I appreciated this phone scene. Yeah, guys, I appreciate this phone scene only because he gave Liv the cold shoulder. I'm sick of him. Something has to happen for it to click in her head that these conversations with Jake are inappropriate. So when he was saying, you know, "Don't call me" or whatever, I'm gonna hang up now, and then he hung up. I just wish that something clicked in her head, because the first time it didn't. But since this time he was a little meaner when he did it, I hope something clicked. And I hope he doesn't backtrack because Elisa's dead. Come back, want to talk to Liv and listen to, you know, when she's having her girl chats or whatever. No, but I have a feeling he's going to backtrack and it's not going to stick in her head. Because usually Liv forgives easily, so even though he was cold on the phone, when he backtracks, which I think that he will, she won't think twice about it. She won't bring it up, probably. She'll just roll with it. But for this episode's sake, I did appreciate that they made him be cold to her, because I've been saying for the longest that their whole relationship now, I don't know what it is, this whole, he's trying to be confidant, he's trying to be a therapist, he's trying to be there for you, he's trying to lend an ear, lend a shoulder. All this, it's inappropriate, especially given the history of Jake. So, yeah. But I'm glad, but I just know it probably won't mean much in the end. So, then we have Melly and Fitz divorce agreement scene. She's signing the papers. He's drinking. He's just not here for Melly in this scene, and she can't sign those papers fast enough. He is trying to get her to sign the papers and get out, and she has this big. Oh, she says she's keeping Teddy, house in Santa Barbara, assets split 50-50. Karen can come with him half the year and then come with her the other half the year. She doesn't really care about what happens with Karen, I guess, because she's older. And then we have Melly when she's leaving, and then he says, "Nothing more for you to take." And then she goes, "What'd you say?" And I was like, "Oh, here we go." And then he was like, just leave, whatever, goodbye, or something like that. And then she's like, "No, what did you say?" He was like, because there's nothing more for you to take." And then she has this whole monologue. Yeah, it was basically a monologue where she's ranting about her sacrifices for him again. I swear. If I hear, well, I didn't hear the word sacrifices, but if I hear another sacrifice-like speech or hear the word sacrifices again in regards to Fitz and his presidency, I'm going to blow a fuse, because everybody wants to throw in everybody's face sacrifices. You had a choice, and everything is like this whole speech, this whole monologue she had in this scene. I was just, hypocrite over and over and over again with most of the things she was saying. She had the nerve to tell him that he doesn't take responsibility for his actions, and he blames them on others. Have you looked in a mirror? You basically talking to yourself. You don't take responsibility for your actions. You blame your actions on others. And then she expects people to clean them up for her. She expects people to take the blame for her. She expects people to like her or love her anyway. And she's such a privileged woman that it irritates me, and she blames him for the fact that she's not where she wanted to be. She's very privileged. She's been privileged since she was younger. She graduated #1 in her class. She was partnered at a law firm. You don't see the intelligence that they say that she has, on top of the fact that she's a hypocrite and she's conniving and she throws herself on other people. But I guess you can do that when just your whole self, and and everyone around you makes you feel like, oh no, actually she does have advantages of she has advantages that more than half the country doesn't have. So when you automatically have those advantages because of the way you look, and then on top of that, you were number one in your class, and you never had to take out a loan because you always had this money from daddy and mommy, and then you have people covering up for you and people letting you believe that you're so superior, I guess you would feel like that you could just do whatever you wanted to do and not have anybody tell you that it's wrong and not have to take responsibility for your actions. I guess you could feel that way when you just feel entitled, when you're as privileged as Melly is. I'm so sick of hearing her sacrifice this speech. It comes almost like every other episode, just in a different way. So this is what this scene, her monologue was. It was another sacrifices speech. What I gave up for you, you gave up nothing, just using different words in a different room with a different outfit. That's all it was. It was probably the same hair too. That's all it was. We can't excuse someone just because they're a woman, which I feel like sometimes this show tries to make the viewers do. She has to be held responsible for what she's done. If we can throw dirt on Fitz, no, it's not just because she's a woman. It's not just because she's a woman. I think that because they throw dirt on Fitz, they throw dirt on Liv, they usually take responsibility for what they have done. They usually learn from their faults. Whereas Melly is the complete opposite. So I think this show is trying to show us what it's like, a reflection of real life. When you look the way Melly looks, when you have the type of connections Melly has, when you come from the type of background with blue blood, not even blue blood, when you just come from a wealthy background or whatever, you can slide through life easier than somebody who doesn't have the advantages. And people such as Melly, I'm not saying all people, but some people feel entitled, and they feel that they really don't do it. They don't do any wrong, even when they do wrong. Like, she blamed the jurors. She was like, it's not my fault, that's your fault. She blamed him for everything. She brought up Big Jerry raping her, which again, I don't understand why she doesn't understand that that's nobody's fault but Big Jerry's. She was throwing it all at him. Yeah, that was. I don't like the way Melly is written in that aspect. Well, in many aspects actually. But anyway, so we cut back to the Liberty Report. Sally's like, this is gonna be good, Sally. And then Susan Ross and David are drinking wine coolers. And he comes to the conclusion that she's just scared of possibly becoming president if this impeachment goes through. And she's like, I'll make a terrible president. And he's comforting her. He's like, I think you make actually a good president because, you're going to keep your zipper closed. Something like that. So then we have the Oval scene where she's about to get married. We have Fitz on this side. He's listening to Cyrus and Abby. Then we have Liv on this side. She's in her little white. Her hair's done. She's looking, good for her wedding that she's about to have, her little mini wedding she's about to have. And then we have the Secret Service agents talking to her, telling her, I need you to take your phone, and we're going to have agents on you, and, tell me your relatives, and all this stuff. And she's just like, ah. And you can tell that she's spacing out. She's like, oh my gosh, she don't want to do this. And then she gets a call that takes her away from the Oval. And then we have Jake going to the train station and Union Station, and he sees Elise sitting, but she's like, he's coming from the back. And then he says something about he wants a window seat when he comes up to her, and then she's just sitting there unresponsive. I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. Please don't let her be dead. And then he pushed her over, and yet she was shot. She's dead. I'm like, no. Why? Why does she have to go so soon? Why does she? Oh my God. We needed Elise. We needed her. We needed him to go with Elise and get out of our faces and get out of Washington like he was about to do when they were going to meet at Union Station. We needed her to stay and distract him. We needed her. We needed her. I know. She was one of the shadiest characters on the show for the time that she was here. But can we just...
So, hey guys, it's me again, and I'm in a different angle, and I'm using a different camera. I'm using my phone camera because my other camera's charging. I am not completely blaming Melly for a lot of things that happened on the show. She's not the only person with blood on her hands. She's not the only person who's done something wrong. You know, Fitz has blood on his hands. Liv has blood on her hands. Most of the people on this show have blood on their hands. I think everyone except for like David and Susan. And that might change soon. Um, and if I'm looking over, I wrote a little more. That's why, because I sat and I thought about it, and I don't want anybody to think that I don't see the faults of other characters. It's just that she doesn't take responsibility for what she does, like I have said before, and she likes to blame what she's done on other people. And she's very short sighted, as we've seen before. We just saw it again because she's working with Papa, and he has what's the word, blackmailed her before, so she's kind of got a taste of what he can do. So that's one reason why I don't really understand why she's working with him. Another reason is because we know that Papa Pope hates white people. She doesn't know that, but we know that. That's something that I thought was kind of hilarious when I thought about it afterwards, is that he hates white people, and yet she's working with him, and yes, she is white. We can all see that. And then we have what is it? Oh, we have the fact that Papa likes to mess with people. He likes to get inside their heads, that he likes to manipulate people by messing with them emotionally, and yeah, just messing with their heads. And we all know what he's capable of. He's done it with Liv for years. You know, he just likes to mess with people. And really with Melly, I have such a big thing with Melly. I'm sick of hearing Melly speak, because whenever she's talking, she's making it seem like there's not like nothing is her fault. And like I said, I'm sick of her and Olivia. I'm sick of their scenes together because she gets this long monologue. I think I hate her monologues more than I hate Papa's monologues, and that says a lot. She gets to say a whole bunch, and Liv is sitting there mute. And I know some people were saying, well, Liv feels sympathy for her, she feels guilt, and she and stuff like that. That should be out the window by now, because cat's out the bag. You just told her that your father was responsible for killing her son. Um, Yet she still wants to work with him anyway. You know that she was raped by Big Jerry, and we know that she used that rape as leverage, and she was running after him, wiping his tears and wiping his butt, although he raped her because she wanted help to get to the White House. We know these things. Again, that doesn't erase the fact that rape is wrong, but I'm just saying, like, Melly has made light of these things, and Olivia has been sympathetic towards her because of them, and I'm saying that she needs to stop, because she needs to stop. Melly doesn't care. Why should you care? Jerry apparently was just another, little Jerry, her son, apparently was just another pawn in her little chess game. Apparently he doesn't mean that much to her because she's working with the guy who killed her child, and I can't respect that. Then we have when I was watching the Olivia and Melly scene, when after Olivia told her that her dad was responsible for killing Jerry, I thought that Melly was going to hit her. I thought that was going to happen. Be- I thought it was. I think it's because I think it's very human. It's very. I think it's very. It would be very realistic for her to have hit her if she really cared about little Jerry like that, which we find out that she really didn't. I don't want to say. I really. I'm really trying not to say she didn't care about him at all, but it seemed like she doesn't really care about him at all, and that's pretty disgusting because that's her child. But no, because she I thought she was gonna hit her, and I thought they were gonna have a little fight. Olivia Pope is not a character who seems like she really respects fighting, like physically fighting, I was getting like all riled up because I thought that she was gonna hit her, and she didn't, and I'm just like, why not? You guys don't like each. Well, I know definitely Melly. Melly said she despises Olivia, so I'm just like, you might as well go at it. But I feel like the audacity of Melly to tell Liv she's going to help her become president. I don't care what squad she thinks she has. Like she had Tom and Papa like pull up behind her like they were doing something. Like, yeah, you're gonna help me become. I like, how dare you, chick? I'm sick of hearing her speak. I'm honestly sick of seeing her face because it's gone to a new level. Like, how dare you? Like, do you? This is Olivia Pope, and your Melly, whatever your maiden name is, I don't know. Like, you need to realize, like, in the end, I highly doubt that you will win in your eyes. How you see winning, I highly doubt that's going to happen because I think you're messing with the wrong family, honestly. Because Papa's going to flip the script and it's going to be hilarious. Going to be hilarious just because he can flip the script. That's just because he likes to get to people. He's going to make you feel like you're getting somewhere. He's going to make you feel like you're superior, Melly likes to think that she is, and he's just going to flip it, and it's going to be in the most dramatic, embarrassing way that you could ever flip something, and it's going to be hilarious. And then Melly's going to be begging Liv to get her daddy. She's going to be asking her for help, and it's like, it would be really nice if Papa and Liv were in like cahoots together, and they ended up blindsiding um Melly, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Rowan's gonna roll with it for a long time, and then he's just gonna say, "Oop, decided not to do it anymore. This is what I was really up to." And then Melly's gonna end up looking stupid and probably asking Liv for help. And then I want Liv to be like, "No." But I watched the promo for next episode, and I'm not looking forward to that episode. Um, reason being, Liv looks like she's going to be lying. Liv looks like she's going to be going behind Fitz's back. It's already bad enough this episode that she went behind Fitz's back and was talking to her father or about to help her father. That didn't sit right with me because that was very Melly-esque. That's something that Melly would do, and I don't need a Melly 2.0 with Liv. I need Liv to be honest with him because the only way this relationship is going to work, she needs to be honest with him because that's one of the reasons why Melly and Fitz's marriage failed, and I don't want that to happen, but it looks like Olivia is about to be backtracking into her old ways. I need her to make progress, not regress. Like, I need her to be honest with Fitz. I need her to tell him what's going on. All I heard in the promo is that she's like, my dad escaped, but she's not telling the 100% truth. And then I see her kissing Jake or about to kiss Jake, or it looks like she kisses. It looks like their lips are touching. I'm not sure. Maybe they aren't touching and she pulls back, but it looks like they're touching. That's about to really piss me off because I knew Jake was going to backtrack because Elise is dead. Oh, guys, that's really annoying. For what? We don't need another season 4. We don't need another season 2B, season 3, season 4. We don't need another one of those seasons. This is supposed to be We're supposed to be moving into another level of scandal. This is supposed to be Olitz. They're supposed to have problems, but we're not supposed to be kissing Jake and not telling Fitz stuff and getting Melly into the presidency. I don't like it at all. This is like one of the first episodes where I actually disliked Olivia's character so much because she's so wishy-washy. Like when Fitz was proposing to her, whatever, and he's asking her what she wants, and I thought, I know she doesn't want to marry him now. I don't want them to get married now, but she could at least been like, said something where it made it seem like she wasn't just stringing him along like she was doing Jake. I thought that their love was special, but it just looks like she's playing games. And at this, I don't want to say at this point, I want to give her a little more time, but eventually I'm going to get to that point where I'm just like, let her go, like, just move on by yourself. And I don't want to have to get to that point, but she's being wishy-washy, and my eyebrow looks like it's weird. It keeps going like this. But no, she looks like Just because it is one like that. I must have a quirk where I don't like that, but just it seems like that she's being really wishy washy and she's going back and forth. And I thought that she was going to be just going forward and not doing all this back and forth stuff that she usually does. But I'm not sure. Yeah, Melly doesn't change. And then when the part the part where I didn't like where I wanted to come to the screen where she was like, I was blind, but now I can see, her that little part that had the racist undertones to it. Uh no, Melly, you're still blind because you can't see that Papa is going to play you again. She never changes. That's what I don't want with Olivia's character. I don't want her to seem like she's not changing. I want her to change for the better, not backtrack and end up stuff being blown on her face too. Because if she keeps stuff from Fitz and working for Melly, working for Rowan, when stuff blows up, it's gonna blow up in her face too, and it's gonna be ugly. Especially if you top it off with her kissing Jake. Please don't do it. See, every episode I'm saying something negative about Jake, but it's something negative about Melly, it seems. And I know like some of you may get annoyed with it. And it's just because there's something negative. It's the negatives that sticks out in every episode. That's the thing. I have nothing positive to say anymore about these two. Oh, and Janine Locke for like examples of when things have blown up in Melly's face. Janine Locke is exhibit 200 of when something has blown up in Melly's face because we saw when she was in the hot seat, they brought up Janine Locke and she was like, "Oops, didn't know that was gonna come back." Yeah, because we all know that Melly does things and she just expects them to just not come back to bite her in the butt. Everything comes back to bite her in the butt. Uh, I I wasn't really here for Liv this episode. Like I said, I don't want to say I hated her because I like her character most of the time, but for this episode specifically, I think I probably hated her. And then he got like a Betsy Ross ring, and he went out of his way to really find something that was really unique and really special because he tries to go all out for Olivia. And she was just like, "Give me the ring." I mean, it's organic to Olivia's character though. She would kind of like brush over it. I didn't hate her for that reason. I hated her for the way the conversation went on the treatment balcony. I hated her for the fact that it seemed wishy washy. She seemed wishy washy. I hated her for how she approached Melly, and she didn't. I don't think she was really smart in the way she did it. I hated her for even thinking about going behind Fitz's back and working and getting Rowan out the jail, out of jail, whatever. I hated the fact that already hated the fact that she gave Abby the ring to give back to him. I thought that was really tasteless. So I think the only thing that I really loved about Olivia this episode, not the only thing, but what I can think of right now that I loved about her this episode is her outfit when she was about to get married to Fitz, when we thought she was about to get married to Fitz. I hated Jake, of course, hated Melly. Cyrus didn't really do anything, but I hate him just because he's Cyrus capable of. I hated Abby, of course, because I've hated Abby since she found out that Liz leaked the stuff and didn't tell Liv. I did love um I did love seeing OPA testifying. It was kind of entertaining to see. I always love to see Huck in a suit. You guys know I love Huck. He's like my very first gladiator love. I love him. I know some people were excited that Abby was back at OPA for a little bit of time that she was. I'm not excited to really see her anywhere. I think Olivia needs a friend that's not Abby. But then if you bring in another friend that's not Abby, she could possibly be a spy or some crazy stuff like that. So I guess we could stick for the enemies that we already know. Well, I don't. Well, Abby's not it. She might as well be. No. But oh, we're waiting to see Liz. I know Liz is gonna come back and she's gonna have a plan. Oh, Papa. I always hate Papa. Then Olive kind of gets on my hate side for this episode. I think I covered everything. I want to still have hope that Olivia will not do what we think she's gonna do next episode and in the future, but I'm not watching live stuff. But I've been watching since season 1. So I'm trying to keep up with it, and I was watching season one was that was a while ago because right now these new wigs and stuff we have Liv's new like little curls on the bottom. And she went through that straight phase and she has little curls in the bottom. You remember in season one when she had like it was like the bangs. She had the bangs. That ooh, and then we got thicker eyebrows for Melly now. Remember she used to have the line drawn, her eyebrows, and what else do we have? Oh, Cyrus's hair pieces continue to change. I basically fell in love with the whole love story, if you get what I'm saying. That's kind of what hooked me onto the show. I think that's what hooked a lot of people onto the show. Oh yeah. I don't want to put Elise on on the fact I don't want to put Elise on the hate list, but she died, and I'm not appreciating that because we needed her. But that's not her. That's not her fault. That's the showrunner wanted to kill her off so quickly. See you guys later. Bye. Yeah. I kind of like this angle, guys. I'm feeling myself right now. My head looks so big right now, but that's because I'm laying down. Yeah, that's just my angle. Anyway,